Talk Radio. Please hold and you'll be able to listen to the show.
Yo, it's John Ayala. How are you doing, man?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about how Hillary Clinton is not different from Donald Trump's views on immigration. So,
Brian, you there? Hello?
Who is this?
This is Christian. Hey, sorry I lost you, and I don't know what happened.
This is Jonathan again.
Hey, Jonathan. What were you saying? I'm sorry, you got cut off.
Yeah, I was saying how I'm gonna talk about how Hillary Clinton's views on immigration is not different from Donald Trump's at all.
Yeah, we've done that part already like a while ago. But yeah.
Alright.
I think right now we're just gonna focus on, the raids and stuff. So that's gonna be our main concern.
Alright. It's gonna be good.
Well, but thanks. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Stand by.
Bye bye.
Latino Rebels Radio. You're listening to us live on the internet right now on Blog Talk Radio. It is Sunday, February 12th. It is 10 p.m. on the East Coast, which means one thing. If it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, it only means one thing. It's 7 p.m. on the West Coast, and I have my co-host, Shadi Dugas. Shadi, say hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here, Julio. All set.
How you doing? Good. So, crazy. We're going to dive into all this. Just so you know, if you're listening to us right now, it's a tech show. But just so if you're listening to us right now, you're listening to us live on Block Talk Radio. The podcast version is on Audio Boom, so you're probably listening to that, so thanks for that. But listen, we're going to dive right in. Sharice, the last couple of days have been crazy in the world of immigration. A lot of news of increased ICE enforcement activities. Just right now, about 2 hours ago, for the first time, ICE issued a statement mentioning the President of the United States, talking about taxpayers, and this is what they're doing. It's been really quickly. Have a packed jam show. And we're going to start with immigration lawyer Brian Johnson, who's been on before. Hey, Brian, you're on with Julio and Sharice. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Really good.
Hi.
So Brian, tell us what's up. You're based in New York. It's Sunday night. You actually posted. You said that things were going to be going down in New York, and they actually were. ICE has confirmed that at least 40 arrests were made. Your other going around. What's happening in New York right now, or what can you tell us?
Yeah, so on Saturday, I was tipped off by an inside source that they were planning, that ICE in New York was planning on having raids this weekend, and they're going to target 100 individuals with criminal convictions and final orders of removal. So that's as far as I knew. That's the information that I had. But since then, there's a lot of information that's come out that actually has shown the rates to be much larger in scope. They're targeting people who don't have criminal convictions, as well as people without removal orders. And I think you have seen that there's a memorandum that was leaked from ICE talking about the raids in New York this weekend, and there was a lot of interesting tidbits of information there that shows that the raids under Trump are significantly different than under Obama, because they're not focused just on specified people with serious convictions. It's kind of like whoever they can get when they're doing the raids.
So basically, what you're saying is that so I can show up at someone's house or anywhere, and they might be looking for someone, but if someone else is there, they might be asking for their immigration status, and so they're probably. Are you saying that they're probably rounding up more people than what they're reporting?
Yes, I believe so, especially because if you look at the report about the confirmed report about 40 individuals being rounded up, that was only until the end of until Friday, and the information that I got was on Saturday that there was more people being targeted over the weekend. So I think that there's probably they're going to come out with numbers on Monday, and probably going to see more people that were arrested. And also, I want to point out that there was a very interesting sentence in the news release that was leaked. It's not only that they're apprehending people for removal, there was a note there that said that ICE would be prosecuting some of the individuals for both illegal entry and illegal reentry. And in New York, I don't think it's ever happened that they charge individuals in the interior with illegal entry. So I think that they're going to be really attacking immigrants, not just to remove them, but to visit them in jail for illegal entry and reentry.
Sharice.
So, and those are some of the things that I don't know how much that you can speak to. Like, what's the difference from what has already been set in place and the executive orders that Trump is setting forth now? Like, what's changing?
Well, if you look at the executive order, you really got to compare it to the past, the Obama administration, and really since 2014 under the Trump administration. Basically, everyone is targeted. It's so expansive that everyone who's here without authorization is an enforcement priority. So that means that it doesn't matter if you have a criminal conviction or whether you were here for 15 years and you have U.S. citizen kids, you're going to be a target. So there's nobody scary.
And is there any kind of information right now where the majority of these people that are being rounded up are from? I mean, we don't want to make assumptions.
I know. And to be honest, in terms of events, it's really difficult, if not impossible, to get that information in advance because of how ICE operates. They use a military type of strategy where they keep everything really highly secretive between the enforcement teams, and we're not going to find out about where precisely they target until after the fact.
Right. And then you were saying that you've heard some report or people posting on social media about things that go beyond the memo, and right. People about this thing. There's been several memos that have been going, and actually ICE has been changing their statement every day since Thursday. So they were saying Thursday that this is not the executive order, and then we're saying that there's no checkpoint. Now they're saying that taxpayers pay a lot for detention, and the president is calling for certain measures. This is the point that you're making, Brian. But what have you heard on the ground in New York?
Recently, not just in New York, but across the country, I know a lot of immigration lawyers in social media, and I've heard pretty reliable sources relate stories of individuals being pulled over just like a random stop on the road and being asked by immigration agents for all their documents. And at least one story I heard, it was 2 a.m. I think it was this morning. They were coming. A married couple was coming home from some event, and they were pulled over by what they thought were police officers, and it turned out to be ICE enforcement agents. And they apprehended the husband and left the wife there. And it's not clear whether they had any probable cause to pull them over. It might have been a random stop, but what was key in that report was that the person there, that was the wife, had said that the agents claimed that we have a new administration now. We're going to go after everyone's a target, or something to that effect. So, and I've also found I'm monitoring ICE forums where they speak among themselves, and what they've been saying is that everyone is a target. It's round them up and it's game on.
Wow. Sheree, do you have anything else? Jump in.
I mean, I guess it's just so what's the due process on this point? How is it? Because I guess what I'm trying to understand is that there's cases in which people have a criminal quote unquote conviction or criminal charge for having come back into the country. So I mean, what's going to get looked at? How is this going to be assessed? Or
after people apprehended, if they already have a removal order, their options are limited because they have no right to go before an immigration judge. They'll be detained pending their deportation. There are some other options, but the other people that don't have removal orders, they're going to be going before an immigration judge, and they might be eligible for a bond. But once you're picked up and arraigned, it's very difficult to stay here after that, especially because I've been doing this for several years under Obama, and it's been very tough as well, because the ICE agents in general, they don't really have any respect for the law, so they're even more involved in this. It's not clear how this is going to play out, but it's not going to be great.
So what are the tactics? You mentioned, when these things get brought up, they're like, well, it happened under Obama, and you've been I think everyone knows that it's happened under Obama. We get it, right? And this is, Matthew Kogan, who was on 2 weeks ago, basically said that the Obama administration made the turkey and Trump's eating it right now. But the question is, what's the difference? Because I think that's where people are not really understanding. And you kind of mentioned just in doing some pre-show work that I was talking about, that this kind of is bringing back to its where the rates were a little bit more. They're looking for more people. So what's the difference, Brian?
Well, I think the difference here is under Obama there was quarter in chief, but he relied primarily upon church communities, which is when somebody got arrested for whatever reason and they went to a local jail, they would just put a detainer on them until ICE could come pick them up. They didn't like to do raids because Obama thought they were from my experience. But so we're looking at a different scope, and if she keeps up at this rate, it's going to just be much more of a dangerous effect on the community, because these raids really terrorize people, and you can see like the ICE agents are adapting their tactics to get people apprehended if they're going in the street, if they're pulling people over on the highway, and it'll be just complete terror across the board. And I think that was I don't think that existed under the Obama administration.
What about the war? I know that a lot of cities have very sanctuary cities. That by definition means that law enforcement didn't want to enforce federal immigration laws.
Well, if they're not tipping ICE agents. I mean, that's what it's
sanctuary cities don't really have any control over when the raids are done. That's more of an issue with the secure communities when people are already arrested by local law enforcement. So there's nothing that.
So ICE can.
Right. So there's complete federal jurisdiction over. I mean, there's nothing
they can
do.
Right. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, ICE can do whatever. Basically, the question. It's a really good question, Cherise. ICE can do whatever they want. I mean, law enforcement in sanctuary cities could be saying, "Oh, we're not going to help you, or we're not going to," But in the end, reports that are, they're happening in places like New York, Los Angeles, Boston, places that Chicago. So you have all these politicians saying, "Oh, we're going to protect these people." But Brian, but in the fact, ICE can do whatever. But Brian, the last question that we have for you, and we really appreciate your time, is what's your sense of when you say like these raids are just to take anyone? The Trump administration is saying, drug dealers, gang members, and others. But what's your sense of like people that don't have felony convictions, or are they deporting people that are just here undocumented who've never had a felony conviction? Is the question. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, I mean, if you look at the statements that ICE put out, they've been very different in their language than the Obama administration. They're just saying criminal conviction. So it's just any conviction will suffice, whether it's felony or misdemeanor. And I think when we say the other category, we're talking about people that don't have removal orders. If they do choose to go after people like that, it's going to be that, but at the same time, it's very inefficient if you can't deport them quickly. So it's at their own risk.
Yeah. Brian, we really appreciate your time. We just wanted to get you to get sort of so much, and we're definitely going to be back. And just like this is not good. And from what I hear and from you here, this could get worse. I mean, or is that am I being too like, no, the sky is falling?
As far as I've seen, the information I've seen so far in this short amount of time, I think it will get worse.
Well, Brian Johnson, we really appreciate your time, and we'll bring you back. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Good night. So there you go, Cherise. Brian Johnson. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, yes, people are bringing up the Obama administration. We get it. You've said it. I've said it. Other people have said it. Latino Rebels has been saying it for 6 years. We get it. Please stop telling us that this is just, that it happened under Obama. It did happen under Obama, but I think what Ryan's saying is that it's getting a little bit more elevated, and I think the machine's been in place. This is a way that the machine's been in place, but now because the machine's been in place, it's easy to crank it up, right? So that's the sense that I'm getting talking to people like Brian and other people. But anyway, let's continue. Yeah. So we're gonna have Maria Castro on from Arizona, and Maria's a immigration rights activist. She'll talk to us a bit about the Guadalupe Garcia de Rayos case, which made national news. 36-year-old mother of two, was deported Thursday morning from Phoenix to Nogales, and other things. And just getting an update what's going on in Arizona. Maria Castro, welcome to Latino Rebels Radio with Julito and Charis. How are you?
Hello. Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great. So tell us, Latino, what is going on with sort of what's happened with the case of Guadalupe Garcia de Rayos. We've been following it. We've seen what Puente, Arizona's been posting. They went down to Mexico to Nogales with a press conference. But what's the committee like? What's going on now in Phoenix?
Yeah. So I just want to say, with Guadalupe Garcia de Rayos' case, she's one of many cases that we've seen throughout the years. Like I mentioned, this has been happening.
Right.
And so this year in particular, when Guadalupe had her check-in with immigration, we knew that it was going to be different because this administration is taking extreme measures to attack our communities. And so we, as activists, have been brainstorming many options for Guadalupe, and in the end, she decided to turn herself in. We talked to Guadalupe, and she understood going in that she might have, or she knew that this was an option, right? Her being deported, and she was willing to risk it so that we could learn from her case. Right now, many of us are looking around, trying to figure out what are we going to do, because many of our members have had similar situations like Guadalupe. Guadalupe was not only a victim of Trump, but she was first a victim of our file, like many other people. And when we talk about the cases that we're working with, there's an interesting point to be made about when we're talking about people's criminal history. Guadalupe is a criminal, even though she has a felony conviction because of our titles of legal rape. It's important that we are not measuring the amount of work that we put into somebody's case or the amount of effort or passion.
Right, and you make 2 points that I just want you to kind of expand a little bit before I turn it over to Cherise. Point number one is what you just said, is that Guadalupe consciously made the decision with her family to kind of test out the check-in, right? That what I'm hearing is from the reports is that she went in with eyes wide open, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, this is correct. But what exactly is the check? Can you describe like that check-in? Like, what was that for? So after, so after her case ended closed with our file, she went through immigration court as well. And every year she has to check in with immigration to show that she's still here, that she's still a good member of society. And every year she was granted a stay for a year. And it's something that one of the tools that we have used in the past to either delay or stop people's deportation. And one of the things that we were looking forward to last year was actually Guadalupe not needing to check in after this until Trump was elected. We knew that things were going to be different. We just didn't know what was going to happen. We were very hopeful. One of the things that we wanted to do was petition to reopen the case and try to appeal for felony conviction. But that was they didn't hear that. All they saw was Guadalupe's felony conviction, and with the executive order, they deported her in an expedited fashion.
Right. So then the question about her felony conviction, I think, is one thing that people are kind of missing in all this, and it's one of those things that if you haven't followed what's gone on in Arizona for the last couple of years, you wouldn't understand. So, Maria, from what I understand is, there was a raid, there was an Arpaio raid in 2008 at Gulfland, and actually these Arpaio raids went to Arizona. They're arguing whether these, with Arizona courts right now, whether these raids are constitutional or not, and that's happening at the same time. But one of the things has to do with the Arizona ID laws, where set up how once you get charged with criminal impersonation, it becomes a different type of felony, so that it deserves to an immigration judge to be like, oh, it's a felony 6, so it means it's a higher charge, so now you need to be removed. And that seems to be very common, right, Maria? Like, that's not something that's happened to a lot of people, and that we're talking about hundreds of people that might be in the same situation, right? Or can you say more to that? Because I think a lot of people don't understand in the national arena. They don't understand the epicenter that is Arizona and all this, and how this has all come about, and how this is all pretty much Joe Arpaio's policies. And now, so tell us more about that.
Reporting, and reporting, right? I mean, yeah,
right, exactly,
definitely. And so, what I want to point out, even bigger than just the case around felony convictions around identity theft and all of that, is that again, going to the point of who are we going to defend and who are we going to stand up for when it comes to our deportation cases that we're defending? We cannot allow ourselves as activists and community leaders to get stuck in the nuances of oh, this conviction that, this conviction the other. Here in the state of Arizona, we've been a meth lab for democracy for many, many years. And the amount of criminalization that is put through the Arizona legislature, it's unbelievable. To the point where right now there is a bill that is waiting to go through the process that would criminalize me for harboring my mother, who is undocumented, right? Harboring her in my home or transporting her in my vehicle. That would make me a criminal, right? And so for us to have a discussion around who is criminal and who is worthy of being deported.
That's the point I wanted. That's the point I wanted you to raise up, because I think, first of all, let's just stop for a second, because Guadalupe Garcia de Gallos, she has two, people see what's happened. There's a lot of people who are saying, good, send her back. She's a criminal. But the point that you're making, Maria, what Arizona has created in the last 10 years to criminalize, people who are mostly, brown and Latino and from out here, that it makes it easy to dump Guadalupe Garcia de Gallos. Then it becomes a felony conviction, and then it's a removal. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Teresa? Yes. Yeah. It's up so much easier to criminalize someone like Guadalupe, so that what you have and is sort of this how we 200, 300, 400 people that are now criminals that we back to. I mean, is that a right interpretation?
Yeah, definitely. And I think for us, as of right now, we're trying to figure out what are some of the different avenues that we can pursue. One of the things that we're doing is we're actively fighting in the legislature, to fight decriminalizing bills, because things are only going to get worse. Every bill that we're looking at through a Trump lens. There's a bill that would have police officers in the city of Phoenix. That means more extensions of ICE under a Trump administration. There's a bill that would put more police officers in schools. That means eye contact with their students. If there is a bill that allows police, there's a bill that would allow police officers to ask the passengers for identification. Again, more contact with law enforcement. And under the Trump administration, discretion was up the window. And the tools that we have used in the past to delay and stop deportation, whether it be in civil courts, whether it be in immigration detention, immigration court, are out the window. And what we're fighting to do right now is decrease the amount of contact with law enforcement. And for our community to be prepared, if and when they do come in contact with law enforcement, to know their rights and have a plan that they can reach out to their lawyers, community members, to defend themselves.
So in this specific case, a lot of the group is already complying with the law and doing the yearly check-in after 2008 is what I'm understanding. I mean, what in her case, what case does she have right now that is in her favor? I mean, she's in Mexico right now. So what options does she have right now?
I'm not her lawyer, but my understanding is that that she could potentially be petitioned by her sister. That would be termed 10 years because of her deportation. There's also my understanding is there's a possible avenue by trying to fight the case that Payo's rape was illegal, therefore she shouldn't have had the conviction, therefore she shouldn't have been deported. But it's a stretch, and again, like Guadalupe had been meeting with community members, and we wanted to see what were some of the ways that we could fight this Trump deportation machine, because we have to think of new and creative ways to fight. There was a point where I didn't know if they were going to deport her or not that day. But once the bands were running us over, we knew how adamant they were about.
Right. I was going to say, I was going to say that you got arrested in the protest, right? Or is that, all right, so you got arrested by police for protesting. So tell us about that. Tell us about why, also tell us about why the community is also speaking out against the mayor and the new sheriff, who everyone thought was going to be the anti-Arpaio, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. How do you make sense of all this? Your arrest, and then talk about it from the sort of the Phoenix of the reaction happening in Phoenix.
Yeah, I think for us, the mayor came out in November saying that he would not allow the Phoenix Police Department to be a mass deportation force under the new administration in Washington, D.C., even if there was threats of removal of funding. And the reality is that those are empty words because the Phoenix Police Department is already one of the top deportation forces in the nation. And he said he recently said when we were at the rally against the Muslim ban at the airport, he came out saying, I'm immigrant friendly, I'm going to stand up to Trump, I'm going to defy him. And, he said he would sign a new 287G contract under the Trump administration, but there is no need for that. Arizona has been one step ahead in all of these actions, and particularly in Phoenix. We already have SB 770. There is no need for a new contract of 287G in your communities. We already have racial profiling orders. The Order 4.48 in Phoenix gives an order to the police officer to racially profile people and turn them over to immigration. So he's already doing what he said he's not going to do. And, those are empty words. It's confusing our community. And actually, this upcoming week, the city council has to decide on whether to talk about this topic. And it's really a slap in the face. And that's what pushed us as community leaders to have to, not because we wanted to, but to have to put our bodies on the line for Guadalupe. Because there is no politician in this moment that is saying, I'm going to do everything in my power to protect the people in my community. There's nobody saying it, there's nobody doing it, and we had, like I said, they had, I think it was about 4 or 6 vans, all of them but one was a decoy van. And we stood in front of the van, we thought they were going to stop, but they were literally running us over, hyperextending my legs. One of my friends fell in the van that I was trying to push back. My little self was pushing up against this van, and he didn't care. He pushed me 20, 30 feet from the parking lot onto the street, and did not care whether my legs were getting caught underneath the van, and kept going. What stopped the van from moving was another vehicle being placed in its path. And so for us, we knew that Guadalupe Garcia de Rayos was on her way to Mexico, and many of us continued to stand in front of the van. We had one of our friends hog the tires and put his own safety on the line. He was breathing an exhaust for 2 hours. Myself, I sat in the back of the van because I didn't want them to just take her back into the facility. We wanted her out of that van.
Right.
And so the Phoenix Police Department came up to me, and we hold protest rallies all the time. And from time to time, we coordinate
Maria Castro, with your time, please connect with Christian, our producer. We'd love to have you back. This is great. I have already predicted that Arizona is the epicenter of this entire debate, and there's a long history here, and we appreciate your company, and I hope you're safe. And thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, so that was Maria Castro talking about the case and protest, the important highly profile. Yeah, they're teenagers. They're teenagers. Wrote about it on Rebels and get 14. I could just the 14-year-old daughter first. We actually had yours. We can talk about that case for a while. It's not going up. But then we're moving on. Now the West Coast organization, and we have Jorge Mario Cabecera. We can hear a little background back there. I don't know if you can turn this down. I'm hearing a little. How are you, Mario? I'm doing good, baby. Sheila was tell us when the last couple of days in life was. You're cutting off, but I think you're asking what's going on in Los Angeles the last few days. What has been happening is a lot of organizing, and we're trying to calm the community in spite of what ICE has been doing, which is basically a surge in arrests in 55 communities throughout Southern California involving 6 different counties, and resulting in the arrest of more than 160 people. For the first 24 hours, they denied that this was going on, and not only that, but they also called our assertions that more than 100 people had been detained grossly exaggerated. And it wasn't until the community, the press, and our elected officials bombarded them with questions and demands for clarity and transparency that they finally were able to provide some information Friday afternoon. They have stated that more than 150 people out of 161 are so-called a threat to the community, in their words, criminals, and yet in their press release and also during their press conference, were able to cite only 3 examples of 3 specific crimes that the group has committed. We're asking, obviously, to hear from ICE what did the other 147 people do that merit this particular description of criminality. And we're also demanding that the due process of these members of our community be respected, and that they be allowed to speak to an attorney, which in some cases they denied members of the community to actually speak to their representatives.
And so can you explain what some people obviously don't understand that they have constitutional or that they have rights. So what are some of these rights that they have even though they're not documented?
The Constitution allows us certain inalienable rights, and those include the opportunity to due process, and that means you get to see an attorney, you get to see a judge, and you get to have a decision on your case. In many cases, members of the community were deported in absentia, meaning they never knew they had a deportation order. And so an attorney, if they have one, can now open the case and actually be able to receive justice. ICE apparently doesn't seem to understand what this word means. And so instead, they live in a fabricated world of lies, and they think that everyone is going to believe that by deporting so-called criminals, that we're all going to sit there, basically, and take it. That's not going to be the case. Our community deserves to know that They have the right to remain silent. They have the right not to sign anything they don't understand. And of course, they have the right to request to speak to a family member, a loved one, or an attorney that can defend them. We know for a fact that a number of those immigrants detained during the past few weeks are not criminals. They are not a threat to the community, and if they have committed an offense, it's not a violent crime that they've committed. In one case, for example, this man only had a speeding ticket, and he didn't even have a deportation order, and yet he was caught in the white net that ICE is now casting. ICE is also saying this has nothing to do with Trump, and this is business as usual. We know now, based on a Trump tweet from this morning, that this is in fact a coordinated effort nationally to start deporting our community.
Right, and they also, and I don't know if you saw the ICE committee pick from later today, but they basically mentioned the president and have said that they're just the taxpayers. They're kind of following the orders of DHS. So I think the initial stories that you got in LA about this had nothing to do with the executive order, that's already changing, which kind of speaks to your experience with ICE in general. How much can you, when people say like, oh, ICE arrested 166 people, how do you make all the information, like, how do you make it all, does it all make sense to you? You know what I mean? It feels like they're always changing their story.
Well, we have to look at ICE as an effective arm, in fact, of the U.S. government. And under President Obama, they were able to effectively and quietly deport 2.8 million individuals. Now, we haven't seen the type of operations by ICE like last week's since the 1980s. Thus, it certainly worries us. And that's what they will do. This is what they're going to continue doing. And that's a concern to us, because that means a lot of people's civil rights are not going to be respected.
So, Southern California is being hit right now. What are some of the stories that you've been hearing that have been coming out of races? Where are these happening? How are they happening? From word of mouth, and what you've been kind of hearing from people, what is the treatment of the people as they're being taken away, their home, at the job? How's it happening?
The actions by ICE this past week were primarily at homes, and they did stop people in parking lots or in garages heading to work. I don't think that there were any actions taking place at job sites or workplaces. We are not calling them raids ourselves, because raids does denote a different type of more public and massive action. We are definitely, obviously, calling them sweeps, and whether they are sweeps or raids, the effect is nonetheless the same. They terrorize our community, they separate families, and in one case, they even arrested a U.S. citizen. In another case, when the father was detained, they actually threatened his son with a gun, and they threatened the younger son, a 14-year-old boy. They said they would pepper spray him if he did not step back. So I think that these are rogue officers. We know that some of them have to do their job. We're not saying that ICE is doing something that they haven't been told not to do. But what we are demanding is that they are individuals who are not a threat to the community, and that's most undocumented immigrants. Therefore, those should not be on the list of people being taken by ICE, and that if they must take someone in their custody,
all times. So, okay, and for your question, is this the worst you've ever seen? You've been understanding that you have a knowledge of what's gone on in LA for a while. I mean, how would you compare this to previous actions? There have been other suites in the past that have nabbed similar amounts of people. So this is not unique per se. What is unique is the fact that we are living now in a time under an administration that seems to be obsessed at criminalizing and dehumanizing immigrants. And in addition to that, those immigrants that were in the past under the Obama administration not a priority have now become a priority. And that's very different. And I think obviously we need to stay calm and remain calm and observant and know our rights and practice our rights, make sure that they are respected. But we cannot lie to the community and say that this is business as usual or that they should not be worried. We should be concerned. We should be worried. We are living in a different time, and this could be the beginning of something worse.
And Jorge, I mean, it's too early to tell right now, but because in most cases, what happens to children left behind? I mean, from the documentation status, what happens to them if they one or two of their parents get taken away?
It is estimated that at least 80% of undocumented immigrants living in this country have at least a family member who is a lawful permanent resident or a U.S. citizen, and millions of children who are U.S. born have in fact an undocumented parent, one or two of them living in this country. The crisis, the human crisis that this represents is real, and anyone who tells us that this is to protect our communities is a fool. And anyone who tells us that only criminals are being targeted and deported is not being honest with the American people. So, alright, what do you tell people? What do you tell people in the community as Chidla, who is considered one of the more trusting organizations that has a history? What do you tell the community now? I mean, you say don't panic, but what else are you telling them? Well, we have rights, and the community needs to know what those rights are and how to exercise those rights. There are videos on our website at www.chirla.org. There's one available now. There will be a second one, which is very high quality, produced by an Oscar-winning Somali immigrant. That will be available February 26th, which is Oscar night. That video in and of itself is different because it focuses on both the good things that immigrants do when they are detained and the mistakes that immigrants make when they are detained. We invite the community to watch those videos and to practice amongst each other what those rights are. We also have a Know Your Rights card that folks can download and print and carry with them. And if you ever encounter an ICE officer that begins questioning you about your immigration status, you can just show them that card and say, I have the right to remain silent and I will not speak a word to you unless I speak to an attorney. The other thing is, you can do a lot of preventive measures, including visit an attorney of trust, visit an organization that you trust, and have a legal consultation. Most of the time, families tell us, well, I don't have any money for a consultation. But most organizations do not charge a lot of money. You probably have to wait a little bit to see an attorney, but at least you'll have an expert that will tell you the truth, that will not lie to you. And it will also study with you what options you have legally. And most of the time, 47% of our members do have a legal option
that they most of the time didn't know about. So we invite the community to attend these workshops. We offer them at $40 a session at Chirla on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And we would like to invite the community to do that as a preventive measure. And lastly, speak to your family about this issue. Have a conversation with your family about what this may mean. And write a plan. Create a plan together of what could happen if ICE came to your door. Don't open the door. Do not answer any questions. Do not sign anything. And speak to an attorney if you are detained.
Well, Jorge Mario Cabrera, Chief of Communications Director, we really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, Charisse, we have one more guest, and that is Salvador G. Sarmiento. He's with Day Labor National Campaign Coordinator. Salvador, how are you? You're on with Lito and Charisse. Good to talk to you.
Hey, how we doing? How we doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great. So tell us, we want to kind of end the show a little bit. We've talked to Brian, the immigration attorney. You talked to Maria Castro out of Arizona. I'm sure you heard a little bit about Jorge Mario Cabrera at Chirla, who broke it down. But give us sort of a bird's eye view of all this. You've been, you've been really involved in this issue for a while. What's different? What's the same? Like, what's the sentiment for you guys right now in what's gone on in the last couple of days?
Sure. I think, from where we're standing, it's really important to emphasize that the raids that are taking place, the home raids that took place over the last week, to be very emphatic in that this is not normal and really push back on the White House and ICE, advancing a message that these raids are either routine, or somehow justified because some of the folks picked up have prior convictions, right? It's really clear that too many folks who are supposed to be on our side are kind of going, falling into the trap of somehow justifying or thinking that that's home raid where folks are being torn apart from our community are somehow justified because a couple folks have, because folks might have a prior conviction. Of course, we know that's BS. We know that's just a pretense to target folks, and that regardless of whether a person has a prior conviction, that's not a reason why somebody should get deported or why somebody should be subject to somehow extra punishment because they're an immigrant, right? And so that's the first thing we have to be very emphatic about, because if it was used under the Obama administration, we know that excuse to target immigrants is going to be used, tenfold under the Trump regime.
It's a good point. Charisse, what do you got?
So your organization primarily works with day labor. So what do you see? Are you worried about, ICE raids or states or however you want to categorize things, like going and just sweeping up day laborers? Because we all know that a lot of day laborers, they look for work because of the circumstances. So what's your sense of this, the people that you specifically work with?
Sure. Well, ENDELON, the National Day Labor Organizing Network, it's made up of 50 grassroots organizations across the country. The core of which all work with day laborers and other immigrant workers that are in similarly precarious situations. And so it's very clear, that Jeff Sessions, Chris Kobach, Trump, the folks on this guy's team, when they say criminals, they consider, an immigrant looking for work on a corner or outside of a Home Depot, they consider that criminal behavior, right? So we can't, again, this criminalizing language and kind of an excuse to go after folks. We have to push back on it. And we know it's not a matter of if they're going to go after, immigrant workers, but how and where. And so the defense of day laborers has to be kind of one of the top priorities for grassroots communities across the country. And we need to know, on behalf of the day laborer network, we really, will look to our allies, other grassroots organizations, advocacy groups, to stand with us in defense of day labor corners, of worker centers, because we know that these will be targeted. But also, we need to be really clear, that according, even a recent LA Times article made it very clear that Trump and Bannon are looking to deport upwards of 8 million people, right? And so that, the day laborers are in a particular precarious situation because they are, extremely visible in the community. So we need to be out front and defending them and reaching out to day labor organizations in your own locality to make sure, visit a day labor corner or the organizations that are doing that work. So reach out to everyone if you could do that. And what's very clear at this point, and this should become all the more clear after this week of home raid, is that there is no, group in Washington, D.C. or, a group of members of Congress or anybody for that.
That was my next question. Hey, that was my next question, Salvador, because one of the things that I've noticed in this the last couple of days, obviously there was a big high profile, Guadalupe Rayos, it was front page, and it's breaking news, he's tying himself to a van, and then she got deported, and then the raid, all this nice actions happened, and there was, besides maybe Representative Joaquin Castro or Senator Feinstein, there haven't been a lot of people who are representing Trump who've been speaking out to it, and so what do you say to that? Because I think the lack of response from Democrats in general has been interesting, to say the least. I mean, what do you say to that?
Sure. I mean, when folks are clearly being, 170 people were taken from their home over the last 3-4 days in Los Angeles, California. We should be seeing every Los Angeles City Council member in the street in front of the Los Angeles Federal Detention Center denouncing, home raids in 2017, right? And the idea that any of this is justified or any of this is routine is preposterous. I mean, this happens 2 weeks after, Trump ascends into the White House endorsed by the KKK, literally endorsed by the KKK, right? We know this is not a coincidence. And so it's the same, the day Sessions gets confirmed. I tweeted this out, Sessions got confirmed that day, and then all of a sudden, within 6 hours, you're hearing all these stories out of ICE. So it's right, and even if ICE function as a rogue agency under the deporter in chief under President Obama, it's going to be that much worse, and that much has to be clear at this point that we can't expect somebody from Washington D.C. to save us, but there definitely is a lot that can be done locally to prevent people getting picked up, and to defend folks. There are very many things that people can do at the local level, at the state level, and the rapid response networks that are well trained can go a long way to document the abuse. And this is going to take a little while, and it's going to be rough. And it's going to take a little while there'll be a learning curve for a lot of local communities to learn what it means to exercise resistance locally. But there's also, for example, a lot of our local allies or local elected officials, like you mentioned, there's a lot that they should be doing that unfortunately they haven't done yet, and that includes ensuring that there's strong local policies, that for cities not to be doing Trump's dirty work, including in California in particular, for example, is the California Values Act, which would, set a new standard about, a very powerful anti-deportation bill at the state level. And that there's no reason why any California elected official should be silent on this bill at this point.
So, what do you say to, this is the last question, we're getting close to the clock, but what do you say to the many voices that are saying that what ICE is doing is actually should have been done, and good for all these people that are getting deported and swept up, and this is what America should be doing?
Well, I think,
I don't know if it's, those folks, if they're happy that people are getting torn away from their communities, I don't think I'm going to be the voice that's going to be convincing anybody tonight. However, I think the message that I think is really important to send out is, to decent folks that realize, that Trump, that it's not okay that he's been endorsed by, literally white supremacist groups, and that are willing to really, to take a stand for what's right. This is a moment where we need to build locally. Reach out to our neighbors, reach out to your local organizations. If you have resources, give resources to local organizations, and step out of your comfort zone, and let's not fall into that trap of, trying to decide who's a good immigrant, who's a bad immigrant, who's a dreamer, who's a day laborer, and who we're going to throw under the bus because they have prior convictions. Let's not do Trump any favors here. Yeah, well, Salvador Sarmiento, we really appreciate your time. National Campaign Coordinator for and Delon, we'll bring you back. This is a great conversation. Thank you so much. Cool, thank you. Have a good night. Take care. All right, Sharice, we got 4 guests in. I thought it was a lot of information out there. A lot of information. So,
it's a lot of information, and it's a lot of differentiation about what's happening under Obama compared to what's happening under Trump. So, it's definitely it is very vicious. But in that statement that got put out, literally Trump used the word vicious, and from what also happening is that there's also construction of detention centers along the U.S. Mexico.
Yeah, that's going to be another Latino rebel. We're going to spend another hour because the other consequence of all this is going to be the rise of private detention centers. And the stocks are already going up, and there's so much to cover. Sharice, we're going to have to do this again. Yeah. Thank you again. We're going to close out with Venas Abiertas, La Plebe, desde Zurito, Ricardo Varela, with Sharice Delgadillo, de Latino Rebels Radio. If you like what you hear, give us a review on iTunes, because these type of conversations need to happen. We need to keep spreading it. So we're going to close out with Venas Abiertas en La Plebe, Latino Rebels Radio. We out of here.